Alright, let's take a look at finalizing the little air intake that's up underneath the door. Now this is, it's relatively simple piece of geometry. It's got some complex things going on with it, but we won't be able to remove too much of the detail here. I mean, we could come through and maybe remove some of these vertical edges, but I really don't see much of a point. We could maybe come in and just start off by, let's frame up on this, pulling this down a little bit, just kind of evening out some of the detail. We will have some tweaking to do, I'm sure, throughout. Let's go ahead and start with the same kind of method we've been using so far, which is to grab our poly crease tool, grab all of those creased edges, and let's uncrease those. So if I switch over to the smooth, see, we kind of get rid of that, and already it looks a little bit better because you get rid of some of that normaling issue, but we need some sort of definition added in. So we'll go back in, and with these edges still selected, let's just fire off a quick bevel edge, like so. So now all of these edges have been beveled. Here's what the smooth looks like, which right off the bat is not half bad. We might want a little bit more of an offset. So let's see, there's the smooth. If I start increasing the offset, there's an offset of 1, actually. That's not too bad, really. Now it looks like we had some edges selected that we didn't necessarily want, so let me undo back. Yeah, we have like this edge that we don't really want to bevel, so let's unselect that. And we have an edge we do want to bevel, so let's make sure that is selected. And let's give this a once-over in wireframe mode. Make sure we're not going to destroy anything with what we're about to do. I'm sure everything will be just fine, though. And let's fly up here for just a moment. Probably going to want to add in some beveling up here, but let's see, do we want to do that right now? Yeah, maybe we can. Let's just go ahead and grab these two edges while we're at it. Get some definition up there where the little wing kind of folds back into the fiberglass. And let's see, with that, let's try another bevel. Boom. And here's what we end up with. Not bad right off the bat. Increasing the offset, say, to 1 should kind of soften things up a bit, which is good for us. Looks nice all the way across the top there. Yeah, even nice up here at the corner. So I think that's definitely going to work out. Now, just kind of take a quick glance over here. We could probably get away with... Nah, I was thinking we could merge these up, but there's really no reason. I think that's going to work out okay, just like it is. And it's one of those areas where it's like, yeah, if you get a fly down on top of it, you can start to see... the individual polygons, and that's a little bit of a problem, but that's okay. We don't care about being able to see that. Now, we do have some interesting things going on here at the corner of all of this. A little bit of pinching, some normal issues that need to be sorted out, so we're going to have to tweak out a lot of this. Now, if we open up a photo of this car, let's get the big one we've been using so far, we can see that this piece kind of, it goes outward and then shoots pretty much straight down and probably just a little bit in down here at the base. So we've kind of already got that. We just need to clean it up and make everything look nice. So I'll take this and we'll slide it forward to sharpen that up a little bit. Let me get my split polygon tool because you'll notice we have a 6-sided face here, or a 5-sided face, excuse me. And we can fix that. Let's grab the split polygon tool. And what I'm going to do is split. You'll notice this is now a quad, so is this. And we'll just continue this split all the way up our geometry. And in wireframe, we can click there, and we're done. So that cleaned a lot of that normal issue up. Now, there's a little bit of a kind of a hitch. You can see the rounding start to do a climb up right here. Don't worry about that. I mean, even this is a decent viewing distance, and from here it looks great. So don't let yourself get all bent out of shape about that. Let's grab some verts and just start cleaning a little bit. I'll frame up on what we have and start kind of tucking things in. There's that crease, so we need to use that as our point of reference for where everything starts to kind of dive inward. This could probably be pulled out a bit, as could these, I'm sure. We may need to come back and tweak a little bit of that when we get back here to this quarter panel, but that's okay. Now, you'll notice there's now some denting down here that we're going to need to tweak out a little bit, so find a vertex that's near the problem and just slide it around until it's not a problem anymore. In this case, the x-axis isn't my only option. I can also go back and forth in Z, and that seems to be helping quite a bit. And we can round this out, slide it back a little. A little bit of denting here we can tweak out. Actually, maybe let's take both of these and push them inward. Yeah, that's really starting to clean that up a little bit. And keep all of this nice and rounded. Not bad. Okay. Slide this back a little bit. And there we go. Cool. So really, that's probably about everything we really need to do to this piece. The only other thing I'd really like to do is switch the door and the fender back on, and let's go back through here and test for any gap problems. We could tighten up this corner. And remember our little corner trick. Easy to forget. Come up here, frame up, and we have edge, 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 edge. And we'll grab the poly crease tool and tighten these up. Don't have to go all the way necessarily, just a little bit goes a long way. And let's go over to vertices. And we'll pull this up. Actually, let's pull things down to this, because this is a pretty much straight line. We don't want to mess with that too much. So we'll come up here to the fender. And let's leave this on smooth. And just start grabbing vertices, and we'll bring these down so that they meet up nice and neatly. Check that elevation. It looks like the fender piece is sticking out a little bit further, so we'll grab these and switch back over to smooth, clean up a bit. Don't worry about that too much, because there is that ridge that seems to kind of bleed off when we get down here, so if it still lumps up a little bit right there, that'll be just fine. No worries. Let's undo, grab those, and tuck inward. Oops, make sure. Was I grabbing something crazy I shouldn't have there? No, just that one. Just make sure you don't move anything that you're not supposed to be moving. Use those arrow keys to help out with that. And check for any nasty gappage. Looks like I lost some back here that I should have closed in. So we'll pull that down. Pull this down. And slide back a little bit. sure I know where we are. Pull this down, tuck it in, pull this down, tuck it in just a little bit. And repeat the process until the thing looks done. Now, so a little bit of a gap there, and close that in. Okay, just double checking. That's all looking pretty good, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, very nice. And I think that's going to do it for that whole panel. I think that'll work out just fine. Let's go ahead while we're here, though, and we can finalize this rear quarter panel as well. Let's switch it over to smooth, and already we know we need to do that nice trick we've been doing so far. But I did notice something. When I was modeling this before, I had put a little bit of an outward flare down here at the bottom of this. And if you look, there's none of that. It pretty much just cuts straight in, and that's the end of the story. So we need to make sure we do that ourselves. And I'll do that before I bevel anything so that I have fewer vertices that I have to mess with. So we'll straighten that out. That's probably quite a bit better. Maybe pull these back out just a tad. So this will define our angle. And I'll just start straightening out, using that as a basis. Okay. Pull this one out just a tad, see what the smooth looks like. Yeah, I think overall that's going to work just fine. Yeah. Double checking. Maybe pull this one vertex out a little bit so I can be a little nitpicky. Okay, now back over here with the stuff. We're going to grab our polycrease tool, grab you, and uncrease all of this madness, and then we will bevel, and the bevel's probably huge, and it is, so we need to bring that offset way down. Okay, now if I increase this to the next level of detail, it starts to kind of flow a little more smoothly with some of the other parts of the model as far as how the shadows and reflections are moving across it. So we'll probably go ahead and do that. What's a few thousand polygons between friends anyways? And I'm going to straighten out some of these. Oh yeah, we still had some serious indentation here we need to clean up. Push this inward. Okay. Yeah, now we'll just fix some of this up. Down here along the bottom. Okay. And yeah, that's a lot neater than it was a few minutes ago. Let's come into the side view, though. It looked like it was kind of doming up. Yeah, it's a little bit of upward curl that I want to get rid of, so just pull all of this down nice and level. I think that'll take care of that piece for us. Now, there's still a little bit of maybe cleanup. I just noticed something over here, and that's kind of how it's going to go. You know, you think you're done, and then you see something you ought to tweak out. So Let me come over here for just a minute. Looks like there's a little bit of lumpiness that I could address. Yeah, even that little bit helped quite a lot. Wah. Okay. So I think that's going to wrap it up for the little quarter panel back here. While we're just kind of taking pot shots at some of these smaller pieces, we could go ahead and wrap this one up as well. I don't think there's anything special about this piece that we really need to know, or that we don't know already, that is. I mean, there's a little bit of creasing as it goes around the wheel well, and I think that's about it as far as what are the important parts that we should be keeping in mind. Here's a good shot of it. So yeah, it bends down. There's a little creasing back there around the wheel well. End of story. So, yeah, there you go. Now, there hasn't been any creasing done on this as far as using the poly crease tool is concerned. So everything we do, as far as adding bevels and whatnot, we're going to have to select on our own, which is fine. We just need to be ready for that. Let's grab these edges all around. Oh, we'll go all the way through. That's fine. To here. And let's grab this guy here on top. Let's do a bevel here so that we can get that nice bit of creasing. Now, it looks like I haven't even smoothed this yet. And it's got a lot of history, too. So let's do a smooth proxy. And that doesn't really tell us anything just yet till I bevel the rest of this. In fact, let me undo that bevel. And we'll start off by nuking out the massive amount of history on this object. And then we'll grab some edges. Let's bevel these. Boom. Let's switch back over to the smooth if it'll let us. Did I not do a smooth? I thought I did. That's okay. We just deleted history. And yeah, so all the history's gone now. Hit Control tilde and get a smooth version. That's what I wanted to do. Yay. I just passed the Maya Fundamentals class. Okay. Now, boom. Let's grab all these edges one more time. Do the bevel edge thing. Switch over to the smooth version. Pull back on the offset. And yeah, we get a nice little bit of pinching there at the wheel well. Now, we don't know how we can tweak that out until we get some beveling going on around pretty much the rest of the model. So let's do it. Let's bevel you. Let's go off in many different directions at once. And all of these. Let's see, if I hit the 4 key, probably want to go ahead and bevel that. In fact, you know what? I'll probably want to add a little bit of beveling here for a crease on the underside of the car. So it would probably be a good idea for me to create a bevel edge here on the inside. So we actually have a little bit of modeling to do in finalizing this itty-bitty piece. So I'll extrude these up like so. And let's see, vertex, you go to him, and you are now buddies. You will be merged together into a single, more powerful vertex. And you will rule the world. Okay, now let's pull all of this up, and all of this, and all of this, this. Now, we have this interesting guy who's just kind of hanging here. And I don't really have much of a problem with him just hanging there, but let's see, if I snap you all the way over here, and we go ahead and merge these two together, and lift up a little bit, just kind of. What is that going to do down here? Probably a little bit of nastiness, but it'll be down in the back of the wheel well. So let's see. We just do something like that. And we'll call it even right there. And the wheel well will kind of help mask some of that later on. Okay, so back to selecting edges for the master bevel. Now we can start beveling quite a few more edges all the way around the model. And get all of these. Bevel all of this. And some nice sharpened rounding up here. And all the way down here. And I think that'll about do it. Just do a quick run around real quick, double check, looking good. La-di-da, maybe grab you. Yeah, that'll probably help out quite a bit, just in case we can see that gap anywhere. Now, boom, bevel edge, blam, what do we get? Ooh, just a little bit of beveling, but that's okay. I don't mind just a little bit of beveling. Ah, what have we here? A little bit of utter nastiness. Undo. Just once, and grab that. Now try beveling again. Ah. Much nicer. And the bevel is a little more predictable now. It's not quite as crazy skinny. So we can shrink this down little ways, and yeah. Let's see. If I push that up another level of detail, it really kind of starts to round out, look sharp, look good, clean up, and look presentable. You could, you could show this guy to the family and not be ashamed. So yeah, I think that's definitely going to work. We do need to clean up that corner like we've been doing. Ooh, we didn't bevel this corner. Uh-oh, we ought to be ashamed of ourselves. Let's grab this edge and bevel. And then, of course, we need to grab this vertex and do the little snappy, selecty, and mergy. And there you go. So now let's double check our high res, see how things are looking. Ooh, sharp, clean, gorgeous, beautiful. I just can't believe how awesome it looks. We could take out a little bit of that lumpiness there across the bottom. There's a camera in our way. Do you mind so much? Thanks. Now, let's see, what have we here? And we could grab, right, a second ago I pulled those up. Maybe it'd be safer to pull these down. I'll bet it would be. Keep everybody in a nice, reasonably straight line there across the back. Lift that up a little bit. And yeah, they really kind of got rid of some of that creasing there across the bottom, because they don't necessarily want all of that to be creased. Although I guess it doesn't really matter if it is. Who's going to know? Yeah, overall, I think it's looking pretty darn sharp. Shiny. We can maybe tug this out, give this a little bit of a tug. Just do some tweaking. Nothing major. This is one of those pieces that just kind of fell together. We were modeling, and before we knew it, it was pretty much done. I think I see a little bit of denting over here, back on this piece, and I think I immediately see the culprit. Yeah, I do. It's this guy. Just pull that out. And maybe we'll pull these along with him, and these two just to be sure. Yeah, nice. Okay, so yeah, that's, what, 3 pieces we finalized all in one go. We could go ahead and make sure we drop the Blend 1 on here. And let's do something, I don't know if we've done this yet, but let's make sure that we do it. Edit, delete by type, history. Let's start killing off history on everything that we've finalized so far. I'm just hitting G, by the way, so grab this, go back to your low res, G, grab low res, G, grab low res, G. Probably go ahead and clear off history on him too. And that one's already done. Looks like we did. That's still lining up pretty well. While we're just sitting here, I'm going to go ahead and pull that back up. I don't see any reason to add any more detail to this particular piece of geometry. And really not this one either at the moment. I'll just take a second and pull these up just a little bit. Get rid of any sort of... okay, I'm going to undo that last one. Let's leave that as it is. Okay, now I feel a lot better. So that's going to take care of finalizing the door's air intake and the two rear lower fenders. And I think that'll also wrap things up for this video. So thanks a lot.